You got a beer?
Yeah.
Cheers, Wragg.
Australia.
All right,
Homebrew.
chaps.
Homebrew. If you had to describe your homebrew, what's the closest sort of beer it kind of tastes like, and are you happy with the brew?
Tastes a bit like a house ale from the pubs. So you
Off
get
the pump.
Yeah, off the pump. So it's very nice. It's going down too nicely though. That's the problem.
How
I'm
strong
singing
is it?
"Simply the Best" in about an hour's time.
How strong is it?
What's that?
How strong
Well,
is
I
it?
think it's not that strong, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just really. Maybe it's 10%. I don't know.
Did the kit not give you any sort of like indication of how
Nah.
strong you're brewing it, or any of that?
I'll have a look. Now, just in case.
Just in case it's like 15%.
50%. Yeah.
I thought you were going to drink it all on Friday.
Yeah, but it wasn't ready on Friday. No, it was Saturday I was supposed to drink it, but basically the problem was it was like leave it out for 5 days before you put it in the fridge. But they're thinking leave it out is because it's going to be a reasonably kind of warm house. But during the day, no heating on, it's ice cold in the conservatory. So it was basically being in the fridge for like a week. So it needed a bit of heat. So I took it back out again Saturday and put it on next to the radiator until Sunday.
I knew you were going to say that.
for 24 hours, but it did the job. And then I put
Radiator brewed beer, lovely.
I know. It's quite nice. Actually.
That's what all the master brewers say, isn't it? Just take it out, put it by the radiator, it'll be great.
Whack your heating up to max.
Yeah.
If I was your uncle.
Yeah, well, it did the trick, but no, it's not giving me any.
Have you not had it? Is this the first time you've had it?
No, I had some yesterday as well.
All right. So you didn't have any gut rot today then? It's not...
No, I didn't. That's what I was thinking actually at the time. I was like, oh dear. What? No, it doesn't say anything. Which is it's a bit what's the word?
Disconcerting?
Yeah.
Disconcerting?
No, what's the word when you're not behaving?
Naughty.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Oh my God, it's affecting my memory. That's
It's very naughty. Very, very naughty.
No, it's, I can't even think. Don't ask me anymore.
The beer that makes you not be able to think or get your words out. That's basically
what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah?
Where they should have put that on the packaging, but they've not done it, so it's a bit kind of. Am I thinking of the right words?
What are you talking about? False advertising? What are you on about?
I can't think. I'll come to me at some point. I'll shout it out.
Nice shot of your lamp. Thanks for that. Or that's actually on your ceiling, actually, isn't it? It's your light.
Yeah, it's a ceiling, yeah. But I'm just
quite arty, actually, for you.
I know.
Yeah.
Look what you've done, mate. You've had a dry January. You've come out first podcast of the February, and you're steaming.
Yeah, I know. You can't remember words.
Can't remember words. What he's doing.
Over the place. Yeah. What's been happening? You both been all right?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Just been working today, and what did I do yesterday? Not a lot. Weekend.
Irresponsible is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Done.
That's the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Irresponsible beer sponsors the football humans.
Irresponsible homebrews.
Good for that.
Hello and welcome to the Football Humans. I just thought I'd put on a weird voice and do a little intro and cut Mike Felton off there. Sorry, mate. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. If we're starting, it's irrelevant to what we're going to be talking about now. So
there was no breaking news with a signing anyway.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, one and all. The Football Humans. We are not in the pub. We are back on the old podcast via Zoom. And it's me, Andrew Wragg, a Liverpool fan, And to the left of me on my Zoom is Mr. John Berry. Say hello.
Hello.
Manchester United fan who parades as a Hearts fan, but that's what it is.
That's odd. That's a shame.
And at the bottom of the screen there, Mr. Michael Felton, who is a big Chelsea fan. No, it's just going to leave it.
It's a big knob end.
I know, even I thought that.
Today we are doing something a little bit different, I guess. At the end of last week's podcast, Michael posed a very, very profound, serious question. Has your team had
deadly serious?
Lots of transfer flops?
Well, the reason it was done is because I was thinking about the amount of money that Chelsea have spent since Abramovich, and because it all came about because of the Frank Lampard sacking and the fact that it was 110 million spent on just managers. So then I was starting to think about players. So yeah.
And with that, we have respectively come up with our flops. A flop 11.
Yeah,
it's a flop 11, taking into consideration the amount of money spent and how much of a flop they are in your eyes. Now, Michael, you posed the question. I think it's only fair we kick off with Chelsea.
Right, how long we got?
I was going to say,
looking forward to this though.
You guys,
shall I show you? Because obviously I'm on furlough at the minute, so there is a whole A4 page there with loads of different names on it. There's 2 sets of teams. There's some serious working outs, which I'll go through with you in a minute, and then some more workings out on another sheet of paper.
That's unbelievable. But I knew it would be for Chelsea. That is how ridiculous it's got. But I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Basically, my starting point. I'll tell you my starting point and then how it changed, roughly. It hasn't changed that much. It only changed towards the front end. So I tried not to. So I haven't picked players they bought this year. So for example, like Havertz at the moment, you would put him on it, but you got to give someone a bit of time. I have put Kepa in it because I think it's pretty much signed, sealed, delivered that he's a flop. Do you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
Because I don't really see a way back from him from that. So yeah, Kepa is in goal, 72 million. What I haven't done with all this workings out is working out how much the actual 11 is, but it's a lot.
Well, you should maybe do that later because I'd be interested to hear how I think it'll be.
Yeah, it'll be a lot.
Yeah,
it will be.
So the first ones off the top of my head was Kepa in goal. I won't go through the costs until I give the final team. It was Kepa in goal. Baba Rahman and Zappacosta, left and right back. Struggled with the centre backs, I've got to say. So I went straight to Drinkwater, Bakayoko in the middle. Wright Phillips out wide. I'll come to why I put him in there on that. Cuadrado.
Forgot about him.
Yeah, I know. Batshuayi and Shevchenko. And then, but that's when it opened up because I was like, Batshuayi, Shevchenko. Then it was Torres. That's when the list started down the bottom because it was then, all right, potentially Morata. But then people say Crespo's a flop, so I have to do some work into that. Varane as well came up on the list. And then you've got people like Marin, Callas, Yarisic, Benny. Because, right, here's where the workings out started. So to work out the strikers, I tried to work out their games per goal and then their games per being involved in a goal to try and like work.
Bloody hell! No,
as in like an assist. So for example, like Morata scored a goal every 3 games, which doesn't sound too bad, but and Torres with 3.8 games, moving on to like nearly 4. Shevchenko 3.5 games, but then Torres was involved in a goal every 2.15 games.
How did you work that out?
So it's just the assists and the goals put together.
How did you work out? How did you get the assists though?
Transfermarket.com has got all the stats. It's not just Premier League either. It's all their games. So all like key games. So for example, to give you an idea, I worked out Messi and Ronaldo's at Barca and Real Madrid. So Messi's was a goal every 1.16 games. and involved in a goal every 0.8 game. So every game and Ronaldo's even better. It's like a goal every 0.97 games and being involved in a goal every 0.75 games, which is mental.
That's madness. Yeah. But no surprise.
So for Drogba, for example, so I use Drogba as like the benchmark for Chelsea. As like, so he scored every like just over 2 games, and set up or scored in every 1.5 games, just under. So it made it harder because I didn't want to put Torres in because I actually really like Torres, and I think I remember more about how. I think it's because I met him and I liked him, basically.
I remember that.
And he was a nice fella, and I just didn't want to put him in it. But working it out, so.
But have you not gone with how many millions of pounds were spent? So you spent £50 million on Torres.
I was just getting to that.
So that's got to come in there somewhere,
basically,
even though he's a nice guy.
I was trying to work out then how much it is per goal, or how much there is involved per goal.
Okay,
like how much we spent on them. Obviously, this is not including this is not including their salaries, so this is separate.
Yeah.
So Shevchenko, for example, because he's easy, because I went through some of these, like looking at how much we bought them for, and then how much we made for them. Okay. So it sort of counterbalances some players. So, for example, like the centre backs, that we bought that Papa Jobley for £2 million.
I remember him, yeah.
But for some mental reason, even though he didn't play that well, and when he did play, he didn't look great. We sold him to Sunderland for £8 million, like a couple of years later.
That's so Sunderland for you.
Insane. Yeah, it's insane. So for that reason, he can't be classed as like, I saw this as like a waste of money team. He can't really be classed as that because he sort of made the money back. But anyway, so Shevchenko, obviously, we bought him for 30, left for nothing. So his goals, it cost us 1,370,000 roughly per goal. And for being involved in a goal, it was just over £900,000. You know what I mean? Which is mental.
Madness. When you look at it that way, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. So Morata, on the other hand, though, has got a different one because we did buy him for 58, but we still managed to sell him for 50.4. So overall, transfer-wise, it's only 7.6. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when you work out like that, his is a lot better. So involved in a goal, it's only £250,000, which sounds a lot. And scoring a goal, it's 320,000 roughly. Okay. So then it comes to Torres. So Shevchenko is basically in the team anyway, and Torres is every goal is 777,000 basically, and being involved in a goal is just under $500,000.
That's worth every penny, mate.
Mental. So weirdly, I worked out that I quite enjoy looking at all these stats and working all these things out.
It is interesting, actually.
It's really interesting when you get into it, especially when I was looking at, because I started thinking of other players. Like, so we bought Lucas Piazon, for example, for 7.5 million, but didn't sell him for anything. And then he only made 3 appearances, didn't score any goals. So is that considered?
Was it 10 years ago? Was that 10 years ago?
He was been there for a long time. Yeah. Maybe not 10 years, but he kept signing new contracts on loan and stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, basically I got overwhelmed looking up all different stats and went back to my original team. So it was Kepa in goal.
What's the formation? What have we gone for formation?
I had to go 4-4-2. I had to go 4-4-2.
Okay.
Yeah. So it had to be Kepa in goal, Zappacosta right back, Baba Rahman left back, Michael Hector and Matt Miazga in the middle, just because I don't know why we bought them ever. And it's not a lot of money there, but I just don't understand it. Drinkwater on Bakayoko, massive waste of money. Cuadrado, even though we did sell him for a fair bit, so we only lost about 9 million on him. Wright Phillips, I don't know that. What did you think about Wright Phillips at Chelsea?
I thought it was actually not that bad. Like,
that's what I have in my head.
I could be wrong.
Like working it out wise is like he seems like, but he did play more games. So
He was better at Man City.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was actually looking him up just before, well, about an hour ago, because of the fact that photo I sent you earlier, where he's got a kid now. And his kid's like 18 or something, or 19, which is, I think is unbelievable. But I was looking up, and he's 40.
Hang on. We're on a podcast here. They're not, like, our listeners aren't privy to our WhatsApp group. So that just makes it sound like you were looking up Wright Phillips at the fact that he's got a kid. So let's explain why.
It's because today his son, DiMaggio, whatever his name is signed for Stoke City. So I looked him up, and I just couldn't believe that he's got an 18-year-old son or whatever it is, so 18, 19. But he's 40 this year, which is madness as well. Sean Wright Phillips been 40. But I'm trying to look up the times and stuff. He was there, and I remember being brilliant at Man City first time. He got his move to Chelsea, and I can't remember too much. I just remember his last year or 18 months at Chelsea, he wasn't very good. He got moved back to Man City, and he wasn't very good at Man City either. Went to QPR, wasn't very good. So I think he probably peaked when he was like 23, and he just didn't do very well after that. Yeah, like his first time at Man City.
Did he not have a good season with Chelsea? Like the first time he went there, and then didn't he get an injury?
Well, the thing is, I sort of remember him being all right, really.
Yeah, I remember his first kind of like...
first season maybe,
yeah.
So the only other option I had then was to take him out and put Varane in, because we did spend 20 million on Varane, and at least Wright Phillips, we managed to sell for 9 million, and he played a lot of games, scored 4 goals, and Varane went for free, and he played like 20 games in a season. So I would have to probably make it 4-3-3 and have Cuadrado out a bit wide.
Okay.
Up front, Shevchenko down the centre. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to... The maths don't lie. I'm going to have to put Torres in it, even though I don't
I would. Definitely.
For £50 million, I'd 100%... I mean, he was great at Liverpool.
When he went to Milan as well, it's that thing on transfers where it says undisclosed, where hardly anything's undisclosed these days. And it's got to be low, basically. So I worked out Torres's thing by, the price per goal. So his is probably higher, because I worked it out on the assumption that at most they would have given us 15 million for him at that point. I think. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you're going to get much more for him at that.
No, definitely not. That's quite a lot as well.
Yeah,
I think as well, Morata was 80 million, wasn't he?
60.
Was he 60? I can't believe that guy's CV. Like the clubs he's got the CV and the transfer fees he's commanded. I think he's absolutely shocking.
So that 11 so this is with Varane now rather than Wright Phillips. I worked it out as we were talking. It comes to just under 350 million, and that's considering that Miazga and Hector are about 10 million between them.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow, that is mental.
What about Marco Marin?
Marco Marin is one of the. He would definitely be. This is more of like a money wasting thing. He would definitely be in my worst Chelsea 11, I think, that I'd seen. But he was only like 6 million, and we still managed to sell him for a little bit. So he didn't really even come into the reckoning. This was more about the money spent as a waste. Do you know what I mean?
Just waste of money. But on paper, I know this is going to sound absolutely ludicrous.
It's not, because I know exactly where you're going.
That's not a bad team.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
Why am I thinking that?
I thought that as well.
To be fair, I didn't think that. So, but no, to be fair, yeah.
It's not a bad team at all.
You know, you've got like internationals in that squad. You've got Premier League winners in that squad. On their day.
Yeah.
And I will add the caveat of this, of obviously, like, this is only under Abramovich. So I've not gone back any further. And it's not the team I would pick if I was picking what I would consider the worst Chelsea 11 or the flops and stuff. This is just where the money's gone, like, completely out the window with no recovery of money, basically. I've
kind of picked a Liverpool team where because we've bought some absolute trash over the years, so I've kind of gone with this is the biggest flop. And also, looking into it, Liverpool don't actually spend that much on transfers when you look at it compared to Chelsea.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah, I just want to say that as well. I agree because, I just sorry, Wragg. I'm just going to say that I've obviously a Man United team. Not that they're my team, obviously, but it's because of I'm not going to do a Hearts one where you guys haven't heard of half the shite that we've had, and it's been plenty. So there's no point. There's no point in saying
Well, as a
reminiscing.
special mention, I think maybe you should throw a quick off the top of your head Hearts one out at the end. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
No, because I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Just
That's
some
my problem.
honourable mentions before we go. Or something.
We'll see if I've got time. But yeah, so I've just put in like the worst Man United team I've seen as a neutral.
That's
but
fine.
I have added a few. I could have put in 2 or 3 players that are dreadful, but I've put in other ones because of the price tag. Anyway,
Yeah.
but Rag, sorry, back to you.
But before we go on from Chelsea and before we
Yeah.
move on to that, I just want to add, looking all this up, that I always considered, obviously, the fact we bought so many players and spent a lot of money. When you go down the list of the amount, the top players, there's not actually as many as I thought that are flops. Majority are like, oh, he was good. No, he was good. He was good.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. And a lot of the players, looking into how much we sold them for, it's like we actually made money off of a lot of the players, which is mad, which I never would have thought of it. Because, I mean, if we're going at worst players, Tal Ben Haim would have been in there straight away.
Yeah.
We got him for free. We managed to sell him for 5 million. It's like,
Profit.
like how is that possible?
In terms of flops, was there anyone at Chelsea that you like the manager bigged up? You got in, you thought this guy's going to actually either change the season, turn a season around, and be like an amazing signing, who turned out to then be a massive disappointment. If you get to have your top three Chelsea guys that came in that you thought were going to like absolutely boss it.
I'll put it on my excitement levels for them signing, and then the absolute destruction of them being terrible. Shevchenko has got to be number one.
Yeah.
Because like he was top form when we bought him. I mean, I think he'd had an injury. So Torres has got to be number 2. Because he made me close to number 1. Because I was well excited to get Fernando Torres.
Is it normally a striker? Like normally as like a striker?
I would think so. I would think so. Looking at all these, I would say so. Yeah. The only other one, he's not a striker, and I mean, he's still a Chelsea player, so there's a potential that eventually he might come good. Is Bakayoko, because I watched him a lot for Monaco, and he was really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's the exact player we need. And then it's like we bought his brother. It was unbelievable. It was just like, who's this guy? Do you remember when we watched that game in a pub when Watford stuffed us?
Yeah.
He was fucking dreadful, man. He was like, couldn't even control the ball properly.
Didn't Chelsea get Falcao at some point?
Oh, yes.
But Man United had already had him at that point, I think, hadn't they? And he just never looked right at Man United, so I didn't expect him to. I didn't expect anything out of him.
So he's basically just a Premier League flop.
Yeah,
just couldn't cut it in the Premier League. Yeah,
and we had
I
think he was past it at that point, Falcao, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's and Pato as well we got, but I wasn't excited about him because he'd already started to drop down as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just while you're on that, have you actually? Excuse me. Have you got the Chelsea flops? Have you got like a team of them written down now or not? I'd be quite
as in the
to hear
worst
that.
one.
Yeah.
That I would. No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've got plenty of options on this bit of paper, but
Well,
yeah. Well, a few of them would stay in the team, but it's sort of like I can't put someone like Baba Rahman in my flops team because I haven't seen enough of him. So, do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I could basically I could probably put 2 or 3 teams together of players Chelsea have bought that have never played. So, but on the flip side, it's probably easier to. So, have you picked players between you who never played, or have you picked?
I picked players that have, for example. Shall I move on to Liverpool?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
So I picked Donny in goal. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember we had a Brazilian goalie. He played
I don't even remember him.
He played 4 games in 2 years, and he was just absolute. Wow. He was just atrocious. Liverpool, we have bought many a goalkeeper that's turned out to be pish. Like who on paper you're like they're decent. Like Chris Kirkland, always injured, was going for England. Scott Carson the same. Like for Liverpool, for whatever reason, they just did nothing. So
I don't even remember Scott Carson being there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's at Man City now. Which
How mental.
So Donny is my goalkeeper for Liverpool. Undisclosed fee, which I think is a tax dodge because everything is disclosed nowadays. So, like you said, like why is it undisclosed?
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. I can't tell you that why. It's because the reason that they put undisclosed is because it's happened a few times in Scotland. To Hearts actually, they've done it because first of all they don't want other teams to know how much money they've just received for someone, especially if they're going for another player. If say Hearts offer £1 million for a player and we've sold the player for $3 million, the other team will be like, you've got $3 million in the bank. So but Hearts will be like, no, you don't know how much we've got. We didn't get.
No, I get it at the time, but it's like when you look back at it now, Wikipedia, or even ones that were undisclosed at the time, there's a fee there or around this amount. But then there is the odd ones that are still undisclosed that are about 10 years old.
10 years old, exactly. I should know.
Maybe it's because it's corruption.
How much Liverpool paid
it might well be.
It might be because it's like they couldn't. I don't know, like whatever it was to deal with it, there was another contract, but instead they've just bought the owner a boat or something.
Yeah, it could well be.
I'll give you my boat. And we'll take someone. I'll say,
and it's probably the case at the time. You're right. The team receiving the money don't want to disclose it. Yeah. And now it's probably the team that paid the money are like, let's not disclose that one. That was way too much.
I know exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That was way too much. Someone who was garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Were you tempted to put Loris Karius in, Wragg?
No, because I think Karius basically is still a good goalkeeper. He had concussion in a Champions League final, and
to be fair,
and that banged his confidence. And I think for Liverpool, probably it's right that he moves on. But I think he's still he's a decent goalkeeper. He's still a decent goalkeeper.
The concussion thing, I totally forgot about, and I only read about it not long ago when they were going through like players that have been flops or whatever. But they said about Karius that it was unfair. I was like, why was that never brought up at the time? Because he was just hounded so much.
I kind of.
Then when you remember the game, he was like,
he was just dazed and confused. Like, I mean, there's so much talk in football, isn't there, about head injuries and stuff? Like, I just think that they need protection. They should have some sort of like in rugby, like sub someone on. He's had an injury, and that's affected his career. I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't. He didn't say, but it was obvious, wasn't it? Really. No. So I went with Donny because obviously a fair few years ago, Brazilian goalkeeper. He basically was understudy for Pepe Reina in the end, and whatever. So my formation is a 3-4-3. And I'll just before we run out of time on this Zoom, I will take you back through my back three. And I've got to say, defence was the hardest ones to pick for flops.
Same.
In terms
of the fullbacks, like the centre backs were
same.
Centre back is hard. Yeah. You think money that's been spent. I think centre backs obviously they have a lot more time to kind of prove themselves. I think. Yeah. So
I think they get highlighted less as well.
Yeah, 100%. So my back three consists of one loan signing, one free transfer, and Paul Konchesky. Paul Konchesky cost us £3.5 million. What a waste of £3.5 million. I know it's not a lot, but he was brought in like to be a great left back, and he was gash. I'm sorry for Liverpool. He was just absolute rubbish. In the centre back, I've gone.
Can I guess one? I was going to guess one, but
what are you guessing?
I was going to guess Kyriakos.
No, I thought it was.
He wasn't too bad actually.
Flop wise for me, it's personal. I've gone with the loan of Stephen Corker.
Oh yeah.
So that just didn't work. That was such a big flop. He came from QPR. He was England international. I mean, he played one England game, but you can class him as an England international. He was there to firm up our defence. I think he even played centre forward when we were losing one game. Like we threw him on as a centre forward for a random thing. Anyway, massive flop for me. And then right back, Philip Dagan.
Oh yes, I remember him.
Yeah.
God, we got him on a free. He was supposed to be like this amazing right back, and he just got injured. Just absolute, just waste of space in the defence. There are a lot of mediocre defenders Liverpool had, but for me, our flops,
I'm sure there's more knocking around than that.
Sebastian
Julian
Coates.
Dix, he was a bit of a night. Yeah,
Who?
Coates was.
Sebastian Coates.
he was all right.
No.
He
Julian
did-
Dix had a nightmare at Liverpool as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't probably reach his potential, Cortez, but he wasn't a bigger.
He
flop.
actually did all right after
me.
Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He went on to do all right. But I'm going off biggest flop, which I thought would do a lot better. Right, we're
Yeah.
going to pause, and I'll go into the midfield. So, moving into my midfield, obviously I've gone with a 4 in the midfield. Can you guess any of the 4 players I would have in the midfield? Who are you saying? Who have I gone for?
Aquilani.
He is the captain of my flop team because that guy. Wow, how much did Liverpool pay for Aquilani?
20 million.
20 million, correct, John?
Ooh.
Charlie Adam.
Just before we move on from Aquilani, how many appearances do you think Aquilani made?
14.
5.
28 appearances.
More than I thought.
But he was bought as a replacement to Xabi Alonso, which just pains me even more.
Wow. Wow. Maybe they just thought an A for an A. That'll do.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Save us going through the whole alphabet. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because then they also bought Arbeloa and then there was another one at the back.
Aurelio.
Yeah.
Fabio
Yeah, that's
Aurelio.
it. Yeah. It's just like going through the A's. That one will do.
Yeah, no.
That one do.
A is
That one
fine.
do.
Leave it A. That's fine by me.
Like,
Charlie
going to all
Adam,
the-
yeah, have him as well.
Going to all the
Charlie Adam,
scouts.
Stuart Downing.
Stuart Downing, yes, he's my left
How
winger.
much was he?
How much do you reckon? How much do you reckon we paid for 30? He
Can't
went
be that much, is it?
36 games with no goals when he first
16
came.
million, was that?
Yeah, it was 16, 17 million.
18.5 million. He scored 7 goals in 91 matches. What a flop.
Was Charlie Adam in there? No.
No, I didn't put Charlie Adam in. He made my bench.
Jay Spearing.
No, I quite liked him. Scouser's fine. Okay, the other 2, right? A little bit sort of curveball, but for me, massive flops. I've gone for Markovic,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for 100%.
20
million.
million. 20 million for
Yeah.
Markovic, absolute flop. And then I've gone for a player that Houllier said was going to be Zidane, who's going to be Liverpool's Zidane. Who do
Let
you
me
reckon
guess.
Houllier bought for £6.5 million
Is
that
that
was going to be Zidane?
Bruno Shearu?
You've nailed it, Michael Felton.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
he
a
was fucking
absolute-
shite. Well
Yeah.
done, Ras.
Yeah.
He scored at Stamford Bridge, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Well, they all do, mate. Don't worry. You need a goal, come down to Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, come to Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, so that's my midfield. Nailed it there. All massive flops.
Oh.
On my bench,
Can I have a guess at one of your strikers?
you'll get all
me too.
3. But on the bench, just very briefly, I've gone for Christian Poulsen and Charlie Adam. Like I think
Oh,
they're
fair
big,
enough.
Forgot about
massive
Christian
flops.
Poulsen.
They can go on the bench. So 3 up top for Liverpool. Name the 3 strikers we've gone
You
for.
guess first, Ras, and I'll guess after.
Cinema Pongoll.
Ooh, no. It's close, but he didn't get in.
Whoa.
No.
David and Gog.
David and Gog, no. No.
Wow. Okay.
Ryan Babel.
No, we've got bigger
El Hadj
flops than
Diouf.
that. El Hadj Diouf is on the bench.
He had to. He's terrible.
£15 million, and he's the only Liverpool number 9 to go a whole season without scoring.
Wow.
He went a whole season without scoring and Liverpool
50.
number 9.
It's not
Who was that?
Lambert, is it?
Ricky Lambert, he's on my bench as well. Yeah, I've got a big bench, but
Anthony Latalic.
No, come on. These are like high profile.
You know what? It's so
flops.
easy to put strikers in, isn't it? You're the same. You've got more strikers options. because
Massive flop. I can't.
You can hold them up to if you don't score goals, then you're a flop as a striker. It's as simple as
What
that.
about, what about Robbie Keane?
Robbie Keane, I put on the bench. 20 million for Robbie Keane. 28 appearances, 7 goals. Guys, I'm just going to put you out of your misery. I'm going to tell you the 3 that I've put as my biggest Liverpool flops.
Oh, let's guess.
Let's guess them. Yeah, he wants to look how desperate he is to guess them.
32.5 million was spent on
That's a lot.
for 10 goals in 42 appearances.
Oh, Andy Carroll.
He is a flop. He is one of my flops, but not this one.
Okay.
Where's he from?
Like his nationality or where he kept
Yeah.
he's Belgian. Come on.
What else is it
Origi.
going to be?
Nah. Benteke.
Oh,
yeah. Is he the number 9 that went all season?
No. That was El Hadj Diouf. But for me, Benteke, the only amazing thing is that we sold Benteke for £30 million to Crystal Palace.
How much you buy him for?
32.5.
Whoa. See, it's the
Isn't
same
that
thing
mental?
that when I'm looking at these Chelsea players and stuff, other clubs must look at them and think, well, they've had a bad run there, but they are a good player.
But they're a decent player. So
Let's see what they're like in a change of environment.
Liverpool did good business on that because I put him down as a massive flop, Benteke. I was really I was really excited to see him at Liverpool, and yeah, big flop. Andy Carroll, you said 35 million we paid for Andy Carroll, and I 100% believe going back to what John was saying about undisclosed fee. So we paid, if you remember, we paid
That was Torres money, wasn't it?
We got £50 million for Torres, and then we panic bought Andy Carroll, who gave us 11 goals in 58 games.
At the same time. Kendall Gleeson signed him, didn't it?
What's happened to your sound?
Can't hear you now.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
It was Kenny Dalglish that signed him. Would you not buy Carroll and Suarez in the same window?
Nah.
Nah, it was Carroll and
Carroll down
Carroll
in
was
all
in
that
a January transfer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Suarez did
no.
come in January as well, didn't
Yeah, I think
he?
it was the same window, pretty sure.
He might have been.
Well,
I think
one
Suarez
hit.
was only... He signed Suarez and Jordan Henderson with only 2 that I suppose are pass marks. The rest were Downing, Coates, Adam, Carroll.
Lambert.
And my last forward was a panic buy to replace Suarez. He scored 1 goal in 16 appearances.
Give us a
Recent,
clue. Give us a club he's played for.
He got 1 assist for Manchester City.
Balotelli.
Oh wow! Yeah, I forgot he even played there.
What an absolute flop! Massive flop.
Well, he's just had a nightmare, and he is just like.
So I went.
He'll be in everybody's flop team. Well, everyone he's played for.
Well, no, I don't think you'd put him in City one. Surely, he played all right for them.
Played all right,
Yeah.
but he wasn't great. The good thing about doing this, guys, I've got to say, was looking at, like I said, Liverpool's spending habits. Although we've had quite a lot of flops there, when you look down players bought and players sold on their official website,
Yeah.
so it's only recently we've been properly breaking the bank. So for the highest transfer fees that Liverpool have bought, club record, Van Dijk for 75 million, Alisson for 65 million, Keita, probably not proven yet, but 52 million.
That's a lot.
Jota,
He's got to be close to
45.
getting in that team soon, surely.
He might be pushing it.
Yeah.
Jota for 45 million, and then we spent 44 million on Salah, Fabinho, and then it goes down to Andy Carroll at 35 million.
Is that not a coincidence or a show that then obviously to spend the money that's to win the league? You know, that's just the way it is. I know you won the Champions League without that, but you've had to spend all that money to win the league. Do you know what I mean?
But then you say that, and then you look at the highest players sold. Okay. So recent years, obviously, Coutinho went for 142 million, which was
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
And looking
Yeah.
now, you're like, wow, that's good business.
Yeah.
But after that, you got Suarez went for 65 million. We bought him for 22 million. Good business. Torres went for 50 million. Didn't spend that much on it. Sterling went for 50 million.
Yeah.
Nothing on him. Benteke, like I said, got back 32 million on Benteke. Alonso went for 30 million. We sold Sacco for 26 million.
Wow.
That's mad.
And then this is the list in order. The next one on the list is Brewster, who we sold to Sheffield United.
I mean, that's
23 million.
Sheffield United, man.
Isn't that mental?
There must have been. I know he played well for Swansea last year, but there must have been someone they could have got for less money that was more proven.
You would have thought so.
It's not the sort of player you need in the situation they're in, surely.
No, he's not even getting his game.
No, he's not. That's the problem. They've had to revert back.
So I think, as a Liverpool fan, I thought coming out of this little exercise that we have done great business. We've bought recently with Bar Keita, I would say we're spending a lot of money on good players that are actually improving our squad, improving the team, and there haven't been that many like massive flops since Andy Carroll and like Aquilani and all that rubbish.
I don't know if when you were looking through like Liverpool, was there loads of like other transfers? It's probably not as much as Chelsea, but random little ones coming in.
There were quite a few.
Never did anything.
There's quite a few that I vaguely remember the name, and you kind of go, I don't even know whether you played a game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was quite a few of them, but that's what I went with. That was my flop team.
I will say, even though we did ours differently, and mine's not necessarily my flop team on paper, your one does sound shit.
Yeah, no.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Like you'd put that team out, they would get beat.
They get done,
100%.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed looking through, and I kind of enjoyed looking at.
I always love looking through old seasons and stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing it. And some of it is just like fascinating to me. Just like it does. Like I sent you that. I think it was 2012, 2013. Our transfer window. That's when Mourinho got sacked that year, and I'm not surprised because it was a dreadful like transfer window.
Yeah.
The players we bought in. Like, I think Pedro was the only one that did anything decent. But you got people like Nathan they bought who never played.
Yeah.
Kennedy who was rubbish. Like Miazga was there. Hector who were never gonna get games.
Yeah,
it's just like there was no, like you were saying, there was no improvement added to the squad apart from Pedro, perhaps. Like,
one thing that I thought like interesting, looking at the transfer window that's just closed for Liverpool, like they paid what £2 million for the guy from Preston or whatever,
Davies.
And then
I don't really know a lot about him.
And then
I know Celtic were after him as well, though.
Yeah, he was supposed to be. Apparently, that was done, but something's happened. He's waiting.
Clearly not.
I know.
I thought that was the other guy that
just packing his bag, and he's like, "Before you go, Ben, Klopp's on the phone." He's like, "Yeah, fuck that."
I'm not going to turn down Celtic and Neil Lennon for Klopp. Oh, it's just give me the phone now.
Exactly. And then the other guy on loan, and I just think, I mean, we're screaming out for a centre back. Obviously, there wasn't like this massive £80 million world class centre back available. So I think they've done the right thing.
Well, and I don't think they were. I don't think
English...
they were willing to spend that money really. No. And realistically, it's not worth it because when Van Dijk's back, you want to hope that him and Gomez will be back and he'll be back in. I don't know. Although I do think you could probably upgrade from Gomez, but
I mean, I think so as well.
Personal opinion.
I think they're absolutely right as well because what's the point in just splashing out on somebody they don't know is that's going to fit in that league, like because there's nobody that's scheme out that's currently playing the Premier League that's available or who Liverpool would really want playing for them. Yeah. But I mean, this guy Ben Davies, he's apparently a lot better than Championship level and stuff. And if Liverpool didn't sign him, it was possibly Celtic, but I mean, he's obviously a decent player, and it's only really for 6 months anyway until Van Dijk comes back and Gomez comes back until another centre defender comes
But what-
available who they really want. And will
What a great,
splash out.
what a great
Why not give him a
incentive!
chance?
Yeah, what a great incentive to the guy. I mean, he's come in and you're like, you know, you're going to play. Prove yourself. Prove that you're not just going to be
And he
here
might be a
for
rough
6
diamond.
months.
Yeah,
could be.
he might just be one of these guys who's like
be
I
amazing.
don't know if Harry Maguire, but who was at Hull and then Sheffield United, then Hull, and then
Yeah.
Leicester. Yeah, so
Or he might just be rough, make a mistake, and then we never hear from him again.
I was
yeah,
going to
exactly,
say,
but
in
What's the rest?
3 years' time, he might be pushing Stephen Corker out my squad and being the first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, I
Who
know.
knows?
Ben Davies.
Yeah. I feel it's a bit harsh on this. Is it that Williams fellow who keeps coming in, or no? Who's the right at the back? Phillips. Yeah. Who's the Nico Williams? He plays at the back as well, right?
He's a fullback, but
Yeah.
they're not
But
doing very well.
that
these two,
Phillips
like,
guy, I didn't think he'd been doing that badly.
You see,
I know you've got no other backup after him, but
you got no other backup after him. He's all right. It's just a bit unexperienced. But I mean, these guys aren't going to get the experience unless you play them, are they?
Yeah,
I know, and it's got to be better than playing your bloody centre mids at the back, surely.
You'd have thought so. But I've got to say, Henderson's doing a cracking job.
He's done all right. Yeah,
He's doing all right. I mean, in terms of fantasy football, Liverpool are leaking goals. So you wouldn't. I've been putting Robertson.
Let's not talk about fantasy
because,
football.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Because they're not. They're leaking goals.
It's driving me fucking mental.
I had a great week on fantasy football. Yeah, I smashed it, mate.
I
got beat by 4 points.
I got beat by loads, but every player I keep transferring out. Callum Wilson had sat in that team doing nothing for weeks. I took him out, bagged 2 goals on the first game of the weekend. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake!
I know.
Did you see Patrick Bamford's interview where he's like, "Oh, I took myself off as captain"?
Bamford's interview was great.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
I missed it. What did he say?
Because the guy interviewing him said, "Oh, thanks for my fantasy football points because I've got you in my squad," and he was like, "Yeah, I took myself off captain, so I'm a bit annoyed."
Yeah. He's done really well, I tell you. He set up both goals and he scored them.
Yeah, I thought
he did. Yeah,
and he buried that chance really well.
Yeah,
he did.
But anyway,
he did,
Any surprises in this transfer window? Because I was surprised to see Minamino go to Southampton. Obviously, Liverpool.
I didn't know that was confirmed. Was that confirmed?
Yeah, it's been confirmed. Yeah,
that's a good signing for them.
That was a surprise to me because, but then he's not even getting close to a game, is he? So, but what I was actually surprised Maitland-Niles ended up going to West Brom because he was linked with a lot of other teams and it sort of came out of nowhere. Just sort of, I don't know.
I think it was maybe because the only one he was 100% play every week, because Wolves were after him, and obviously Wolves West Brom big rivals, but Wolves he was meant to be going to Wolves just August there before the summer window shut, so it's, and they were after him again and Leicester.
Yeah. I thought Leicester, if he wanted to get his game, Leicester was not the place to go.
No.
But and then the other one was because I saw it this morning and I heard nothing about it. Was Josh King going to Everton? I was he'd been linked with every other club, not Everton. And then it's like, eh?
I know.
Do you think
good for him though?
Be good for Everton? Do you think it'll kind of knock the balance?
Well, he's only on a 6-month contract, I think, or something weird like that.
Is that what it is?
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure it is. With an option for more or something like that. It's really short contract.
You got to say the COVID transfer window. I mean, it's just not exciting, is it? I mean, what's that about, eh?
Yeah, but I mean, no one apart from you and sort of defence. I think there's such like massive squads going on at the minute anyway that too many players.
Right. Let's get on to another flop squad, Mr. Berry. Take us through your Manchester United flops.
You put my headphones back in there because it is quite quiet. Bear with me 1 second. Well, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did a 3-5-2. Oh, for fuck's sake! Hold on a second. Why does headphones do this? It's so fucking annoying.
It's one of the most annoying things
snake,
ever.
Man. It's like, what the fuck are they doing?
You literally put it down on the side, and all of a sudden it's like in about 60 knots. Yeah,
I know. It's unbelievable. I've done it. Thank God. I've done a 3-5-2.
The rising anger is amazing. It's like,
I know. It's calmed down now. Plus the drink as well. That's making me a bit angry as well. So smashing shit up. So the goalkeeper, up until about an hour ago, I knew who I was doing. But what I've done was a few players who I feel like I can't leave out. And there's a few players I've taken out who I thought it was a bit harsh putting them in because, like, you can't put someone who's like, oh, they came to the youth team and they weren't very good, so now they play for Oldham. It's like, well, that's you can't put them in. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's saying, Michael Clegg was the worst player playing Man United, but it's like, well, wait, he played one game and he wasn't good enough.
It's
so
sort of like I was saying before. If you've not seen him play that often, you can't really.
I'm not going to have a
that.
go at someone who's not world class and be like, look how shite he is. Like, that's not fair. What I will say is though, the keeper I was going to put in is played for Hearts last season, and he's still at Man United, but he's the worst keeper I've ever seen in my life. But I don't want to put him in because
he played for Hearts.
I don't want to give him that satisfaction because he's so bad that he's I don't know how it's like one of the Southampton guy that you said he was George Weir's cousin. He's obviously sneaked his way in.
Ali Dye.
Ali Dye. He's the goalkeeping version of Ali Dye because he's the worst. I mean, Hearts fans know him as Poppadom Hands. That's his nickname, Poppadom Hands, because anything that comes near him, it'll go in the back of the net. He's the worst keeper I've ever seen. And just to reiterate that, Man United have sent him on loan to Huddersfield this season in the Championship, and he played one game for Huddersfield, and he let in 4 goals at Blackburn, and now he's been out. He's not played a game since, and now he's Huddersfield's third choice keeper. That's how bad he is.
You might as well mention him because I'll just have to Google it otherwise.
I know I did. His name's Joel Pereira, and he's just so bad.
So did Man United loan him to Hearts last year?
Yeah, and now they became Hearts' third choice keeper, and then. And now he's Huddersfield on loan, and now he's Huddersfield's third choice. Just get rid of him. He's so bad. But anyway, I don't know how he's a Man United. Anyway, so in goals, I went for Fabian Barthez because massive.
I remember him making a few errors, and he wasn't there very long.
He made plenty,
but not as many as like
Taibbi.
No, that's a lie. Taibbi only played 6 games, and he made one mistake. But it's the most memorable mistake, yeah.
How funny is that, though, that we remember that? And he only played 6 games.
Yeah, but Barthez played about 40 games and made a mistake in about every game. Barthez was shocking.
Do you remember the way he used to come out for corners and stuff? He was like a madman. He was just sort of like missing all the time.
Or if someone was on attack, he'd come straight run out, miss the ball, and then just take it around them. He was dreadful.
Didn't Barthez win a World Cup?
Yeah, France 98, and Euro 2000.
He looked quite good for France, though.
I was going to say, like, surely Taibbi's a bigger flop because he couldn't even. He made one mistake and couldn't even get back in the team.
No, he did. He played 6 games. But what happened was they wanted someone to replace Schmeichel. They signed Bosnich, but realised very soon that Bosnich wasn't going to be good enough. Signed Taibbi, thinking he was he wasn't long term. Taibbi, he was like 33 or 34 at the time. Until they got someone else, and he brought Taibbi and played 6 games until they signed Barthez, and Barthez was the worst of a lot of them, I think.
Did they pay for Barthez, or did they get him on a free?
Oh, I can't remember. No, they paid for him. I can't remember how much it was, but they definitely paid for him.
Not to be argumentative, but I'm going to say that I would put Bosnich or Taibbi above Barthez in a flop situation.
But the flop situation is that he's France #1. He's a World Cup winner, Euros winner. They paid money for him, and he's absolute garbage. I mean, what Taibbi's like? Oh, calm down. I came from Venezia. Chill out. I made one mistake. Do you know what I mean? I made one mistake. Get over me. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. That's interesting. Go on
then. Back 3. I've done a back 3 because I couldn't get any centre backs. Well, I eventually did, but
for years they've got Ferdinand and Vidic and
I know, but even before that, so like the only one I could put in would be David May, but I didn't want to put David May in because he wasn't that bad.
He wasn't.
So I got back 3 of William Prunier, who played about 6 games in 95, 96.
I don't remember him.
Never even heard of him. No.
Murder. Phil Jones and
you forget that he's actually still there.
I know. And Alex Ferguson's second last signing, Alexander Butner.
Oh, yeah. But do you know, he was playing for...
Zenit St. Petersburg or something.
VV Venlo or whatever they're called, Triple V Venlo or whatever.
Yeah.
And he got demoted to the B team the year after a season in the team.
Because he went to Zenit after Man United. They thought he was shite. He went to America. I think he played for like Columbus Crew or something like that in America. And he went to Venlo. I know he's terrible. Terrible defender.
How's that?
So midfield was a lot easier.
Can I guess one of them?
Yep.
Jordi Cruyff?
Right wing.
Yeah, I thought so. Everyone was like, he must be his dad. He must be like his dad.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'd say. I know. He wasn't.
He's got to have the same skill.
I know. He's more like his mum.
Yeah. And one of them's got to be one of the ones that's in my team, no?
Yeah, Veron, no?
Veron.
Didn't put Veron in.
Yeah,
wow.
Because I just feel like there was worse players then. Veron, I like probably because like I used to watch Football Italia religiously. I could name the whole squads for each team, and Veron was a bit of a hero for me in the 90s. I loved Veron.
Oh yeah, Veron was great, and I'm not because
I
did mine differently, obviously on a waste of money. So fair enough. If there's worse,
so I didn't want them in. 3 in the middle of the field. 2 you can probably guess: Kleberson, Jemba.
Yeah, Kleberson was supposed to be like because he played well. Was it the World Cup just before that they bought him, and then he was terrible.
2002, same with Jemba, and then the other one in the centre midfield, still playing now, but it really annoyed me because
for United.
No, not for United, but I think he's absolutely dreadful. But he kept getting his game, and then he got put in England's squad. Everyone said how amazing he is.
Yeah, because you've always said he's crap.
Tom Cleverley, absolutely murder.
I mean, it is quite amazing that he was at United for the time he was.
And Ferguson kept playing him. Ferguson kept playing him. I don't know why. I mean, he's dreadful. And then left wing, I've got Gabriel Obertan.
Hang on. Because I couldn't remember his name, so I've had to Google it.
What?
Would you not put Bebe in that squad? That's been the biggest flop.
I've not done my strikers yet, Wragg.
He was a midfielder, wasn't he?
No, a striker.
Yeah.
So up front, I've got Bebe.
How much did they get him for?
Oh, it wasn't that much. It was like 2 million or something. But
he was a midfielder.
No, it wasn't 2 million. It was because he was homeless, and he impressed at the homeless World Cup or something. That's what it was. And he was like, he's a rough diamond.
Don't you just feel bad for putting him in now? Then?
No, he was a massive flop. He was a massive flop.
No offense, son, Leah shite. So back in the street. No, he wasn't homeless at the time.
I've just looked him up. They paid £7.4 million for Bebe.
Whoa. But is he not homeless?
He's not the homeless guy. Then.
So basically, Bebe's arrival at Manchester United was a real curiosity from the start, coming barely a year after he'd been playing for the Homeless World Cup.
They bought him from his Portuguese team, was it not? Was it Sporting Braga or something?
Vittorio Guimarães.
De Guimarães, Portuguese team.
Yeah, 20.
And so up front with Bebe, I mean, it was either going to be someone who I have put in, who I wasn't going to leave out. But the other one I took out, David Bellion. But I mean, is another one. He was like, he tried to make it. He wasn't very good, so he went away again. Yeah. So my last one is Alexis Sanchez. He's up front with Bebe.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Alexis Sanchez. Got to be.
Yeah,
massive. Diego Forlan, wasn't he classed as a flop?
No, I thought it was a bit harsh. But everyone was saying that Forlan.
Karol Poborski.
Nah, not as bad as them.
Yeah. I feel like you're missing something.
Owen Hargreaves not getting this.
No, Hargreaves is a good player
for Man City. I know he was a flop for Man City, wasn't he? He didn't really play for Man City.
He won the Champions League with Man United.
Di Maria.
Well, he's always been a top player.
To be fair, if you were doing it the way I was doing it, Di Maria would definitely be in it.
Well, if that was the case, Lukaku would be in there as well, 100%.
No, because he scored a lot of goals one season.
He's fucking no. I mean, Lukaku let himself down massively. I think he's got a terrible attitude, and Lukaku would definitely be in there for me. I really don't like him as a player at all.
Kagawa, didn't he? He was kind of a big name.
I know, but that was another one. He was, and Fellaini would probably be in there as well because I think he's a donkey. But
and then Harry Maguire, no.
Nah, Harry Maguire's going to come.
Joking.
Lindelof maybe.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'd say that was. I mean, that team. I think that's got to top all three. That is the most garbage team on paper. I would say.
On paper, yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Garbage.
Yeah, there's a couple I can't even remember. Did that Bebe even play once?
He played one game. I think. Oh no, was it one or two games?
One
or two games.
Do you think they were like, ah, shit, we've been had it?
Well, possibly, yeah. But I mean, it's their own fault. The other guy was the Chinese guy. It's like Dong Fan Zhu, and he played one game or something as well.
Yeah.
Don't even remember him.
But yeah,
was it Diego Forlan he apparently bought after watching YouTube videos?
No, because Forlan had a great career.
Just YouTube videos of dogs falling over and stuff. He's like, I'm going to buy Diego Forlan.
You were going to say that.
Yeah. No, yeah. People slipping.
That dog's really got a coat that reminds me of Diego Forlan's hair.
He does look a bit like a dog, actually. If you remember that.
One of them Afghan hounds with the long hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a poodle. What about it might be Makeda, Federico Makeda. He was pish as well.
He came in and like set it on fire and then like disappeared, didn't he?
What about Memphis Depay?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was an almost guy I was going to put in, but
he's playing well now, isn't he? He's doing all right.
He was only there for a year, so it's like, and I was going to put Daley Blind in as well because there was plenty of that kind of Van Gaal.
Too bad, I don't think.
I know that's what I mean. But Depay there was so much pressure put on him. I mean, if we're talking about money, I mean, I'm not going to put him in, but who I think is one of the most overrated players I've seen, going by consistency only, is Martial. Because overall they've paid about £60 million for him, and he can, when he turns it on, he's different class. But he rarely does it. Rarely does it.
Isn't it? Yeah, very rare. But I mean, it's go on.
Sorry, would you say Zaha was a flop for Man United?
No way.
Yeah,
he never got a chance.
Yeah, but so he's a flop.
No, because Moyes never played him. Ferguson signed him, and then Moyes didn't play him.
He did play him a little bit, didn't he? And then
no, he didn't. He played about 2 or 3 games. That was it. And he was only 20. Like the guy, he's come up from Manchester. His first time he apparently left London in his whole life. And he's got to be nurtured into the team as a one for the future and a potential. Moyes didn't fancy him from straight away, so sent him on loan to Crystal Palace. Within 6 months.
If there was a league of our flop teams, right, who would like position them? Who would come out top, second, and third?
Yeah,
Ras, you, me.
Although it depends, because if the strikers were on the form they were at Chelsea, then we'd be lacking in goals.
I know.
On paper, Chelsea definitely, yeah.
Just
top.
Yeah. I mean, because I feel bad because I'll have to do another one the way you guys have done it, because I wouldn't put someone like Quadrado in it at all, because I thought he was pretty good when he played. It's just the amount of money that was spent for the time being there and the lack of games played. But again, like you said, I don't think he got a proper crack at the whip to be classed as like.
Yeah. The only thing that's annoyed me about either of your teams, because I've agreed with most of them, is Bartes in John's goal. I think Bosnich and Taibbi are definitely 100% should be.
Taibbi played about 6 games. He made one mistake in 6 games. He made one mistake in 6 games. Yeah. Bosnich was just overweight and bad attitude. But Bartes made mistake after mistake after mistake.
Right, I think
and dreadful was he let in so many goals because of it as well.
We've got to put that out to very quickly. We'll put that out to Man United fans. Get in touch. You can email us. You can message us on Instagram. All that crap.
Before we go,
who's the worst keeper? Come on.
Answer the question I answered, Wragg, about the player that you bought that you thought, oh, this is going to be great. They're going to do so well for us, and they never did.
Aquilani. Genuinely.
Okay.
Because Xabi Alonso held a very, in my heart, Xabi Alonso was just such a player for Liverpool, and I loved him.
I thought you were going to start singing then.
Yeah.
In my heart, Xabi Alonso.
Xabi Alonso was absolute genius, and really, really, I met him in an Adidas shop in Manchester. How random is that? He was, just in this.
Did you try to touch him?
Boutique. I I saw him there, and I went over and I just said, "Oh, I'm a Liverpool fan, and you are amazing." That was what I said, because I kind of fumbled a little bit, and he just kind of really graciously just went, "Oh, thanks, mate. Nice one, yeah." It's really nice.
Same thing I did with Torres. You know that you were there.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Raz. You knocked over a fucking old lady, barged past her to try and get some. Fernando, it's me, Raz. I was in Stall's bar going, oh my God, look at him.
I tell you what. I served Andy Carroll on Stall's bar, and Andy Carroll. I remember this. Andy Carroll's credit card weighed an absolute ton.
I remember you saying that to me.
It was like a credit card I've never seen before. It was.
He was a lad, wasn't he? He was like Carlsberging it up.
Yeah, he was. That was funny.
Who's the most famous footballer I've served on Stall's bar?
Ken Moncal.
Absolutely not. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you some clubs he's played for. Barcelona, Newcastle, Ajax.
Clivert.
Yeah.
Did you?
Patrick Clivert and his two sons. So I'm assuming one of them was Justin Clivert was there. But they were only about 15, 16 at the time. But he got double vodkas and cokes.
Yeah,
and then he got 3 and they put them all in a pint glass.
What's his Chris? Was it Chris Smalling? Who had
double brandy and cokes he was drinking.
Yeah, he was on the Cavoisier, wasn't he? He had literally like 4.
Not all he was on.
Yeah, he had 4 things of Cavoisier, I remember, and
we
were like, "Oh, we can't serve you that." So he bought 2 doubles and then put them in one glass and walked in. Yeah,
a tosser, eh?
I'd definitely go Aquilani. I thought he was pitched as being an absolute he was going to be the best midfielder Liverpool.
I thought that as well,
seen.
yeah.
And he was the biggest flop and just the biggest
in the last 4 minutes, Ras, I know. You might not have been excited about the United signing. So, because you didn't do a Hearts team, who are the 3 players that you were most excited about that turned out to be garbage?
First one is our most expensive signing at the time, Mirsad Bezlija, a Bosnian right winger, a Bosnian international right winger, signed him from Genk in 2006 for just under £1 million.
The knowledge is unbelievable.
Meant to be he was apparently the fastest player in Europe. Right when I thought the fastest player in Europe, Bosnian international, I was like, this guy sounds absolute dynamite. He played about 6 games for us, absolute shite. So we sent him off, wasted £1 million. He was injured most of the time as well. Who else? Probably I was most excited about. It's tough. I'm trying to think recent ones. Maybe Stephen Naismith. I think he's could have done more. I think he's lost quite a couple of yards of pace. And who else?
I remember a lot of the time when you'd sign players and you're like, oh, he's going to be great. Like, who was the big guy you had up front who turned out to be terrible?
Vanacek.
Is it Vanacek? I can't remember.
Is it the Czech guy that we wanted to sign, but the club were like, oh, he's got 6 months to go in his contract, so Hearts were like, well, we'll get him a pre-contract now. But we want to so we'll get him at the end of the season, or we can sign him now for like 500,000 or something. And the club were like, no, we want 5 million. And we were like, no, we'll wait for 5 months or whatever. He came, played 3 games.
Yeah.
Murder. He went away back to Slovakia.
But was he the one you were like, oh, he's going to be good? He looks good. Like,
I've probably said that about loads of players, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Every week I'm like, this guy will do it. This guy will do it. And he won't. He won't.
There's nothing worse though, is there, when you get so excited that your club's got like this big signing, they're there doing all that unveiling and everything, and you think, yes, come on.
Yeah,
and then they
Wragg,
just turn out to be absolute.
I think, as you'll know, Chelsea are going through that right now, so there's a lot of that going on. The Timo Werner anticipation was really high. It started really well. Now I don't expect him to score. He doesn't look like scoring at all. So I'll be pleasantly surprised when he does. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he's not going to be entering that list anytime soon.
Well, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that, listeners. That's our 3 flop teams. Join us next week where we will be discussing the 3 best teams. Why don't we come up with our best teams?
I'm up for that.
Who you think would be the best teams on paper?
Imagine Hearts and Man United. Both?
You can do both, mate. Both of your teams.
Yeah.
On that note, take it easy. Bye, guys.
Okay, have a
See you
good one.
later.
Cheers, guys.
Catch
Good
you
fun.
later.
Pleasure. Take it easy.
Bye.